This is my favorite poem, and it has been my favorite poem since I was a little girl. It was read to me by my father. The poem is titled Birches. Birches is about a tree, but not just about a tree. You see, this tree is a type who grows tall and strong, but yet also has branches that can very easily bend. In this poem, Robert Frost, the author, discusses how did those branches get bent and why do they look the way they do. You'll see that he shares that often swinging in trees and playing in trees is a wonderful childhood memory. So enjoy listening to Birches by Robert Frost. When I see birches bend left and right across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging them. But swinging doesn't bend them down to stay. Ice storms do that. Often you must have seen them loaded with ice a sunny morning after a rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored, as the stir cracks and crazes their enamel. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed their crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust. Such heaps of broken glass to sweep away, you'd think the inner dome of heaven had fallen away. They're dragged into the withered, broken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed. So low for long, they never really right themselves. You may see their trunks arching in the woods, years afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground, like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say when truth broke in, with all her matter of fact about the ice storm. Now am I free to be poetical? I should prefer to have some boy bend them, as he went in and out to fetch the cows. Some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was what he found himself. Summer or winter he could play alone. One by one he subdued his father's trees by riding them down over and over again until he took the stiffness out of them. And not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching too soon. And so, not carrying the tree away, clear to the ground, he always kept his poise, to the top branches climbing carefully, with the same pains you use to fill a cup, up to the brim and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a whoosh, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So was I once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of considerations, and life's too much like a pathless wood, where your face burns and tingles with cobwebs, broken across it, and with one eye weeping from a twig's having one lashed across it open. I'd like to get away from earth for a while, and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate willingly misunderstand me, and half grant what I wish and snatch me away, not to return. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree, and climb black branches up a snow-white trunk toward heaven, till the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good both going and coming back. One could do no worse than be a swinger of birches. And I love this picture here along with this last verse. You can see a boy climbing the tree. And as you see, he climbs the tree and it bends down and begins to touch the ground. Birch trees are strong, but they're also flexible. In the beginning of our poem, you can see Robert Frost discusses why a tree might actually bend. Here in the beginning, you see he's discussing that it's because of the ice. And that in the winter, the ice will cover the branches and make them heavy, making them bend down to the ground. And I love how he has us envision the ice on the branches. Let's see it again. He says that as the breeze rises, and the branches will turn many color, that there's a stir that cracks and crazes the enamel. That's the ice on the branches going clicking. And then he says, as the sun's warmth makes those branches shed their crystal shells, you can think and almost see that icy shell cracking off the branch. And then it shatters and avalanches down from the sky. And that this is why perhaps these branches might touch the ground. But then as the ice leaves them, they return back to their shape. They pop back up. He says that this could be the reason why these branches may be down, but that he also likes to dream that it's a young boy who's playing on the tree. You can see that it says that maybe this is a boy who lives a little further from town, so he can't play baseball because there's no baseball around. Instead, he climbs trees and plays within the trees. In the next part of the poem, he describes what that would be like. And you can almost think of this, you can almost imagine yourself on one as if you're riding. And you can see that he says at the very end here that you can tell that there would be a boy who keeps riding the trees until the stiffness is out of them. So he climbs them and then he tries to conquer the tree, learning just about when, if he gets too far to the top, it might launch him out. And you can see here on the next verse that it says, he's so careful not to do that he can keep his poise, which is his balance. And then to the top branches, he will climb so carefully. And I love the next line too, because it says, with the same pains that you use to fill a cup, up to the very brim and even over the brim. So think about how you feel when you're filling a cup and it's almost full and you're going, oh no, it's almost full. Don't spill, don't spill, don't spill. The same thing happens as you climb a birch tree. You get closer to the top and you think, oh no, don't fling me out of this tree. And that's the feeling that this boy gets every time he climbs the tree. And then comes my one favorite line in the entire poem. And I often quote this line. So was I once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. This means that this poet, the author, Robert Frost, is older in his age. And he wishes he could go back to being a swinger of the birch trees because it would be him being young again and a child again. And he loves that feeling of being a child. And so he says again that while he loves being here on earth and he enjoys it, if he could come back, if he had to ever leave earth and come back, he would want to be a swinger of birches, climbing the trees and enjoying that adventure, climbing up to the sky, going back and down and up again as a swinger of birches. Thank you for asking me to share my favorite poem, Birches by Robert Frost.